Donald Trump is now aware that he has an actual challenge in New Hampshire and Nikki Haley. And if Haley manages to win that state, that makes it 1-1. And Trump doesn't coast to the nomination as easy as he may like, though he would still probably be the favorite to win it. He doesn't like the idea of any challenge at all whatsoever. So he's upped his events in New Hampshire with him doing 5 in the next 2 days. That is way more than he usually does. And when he gets asked about this, he directly divulges into a meltdown, probably not wanting to give up any notion to the fact that he's actually being challenged by somebody in this primary. So watch how he avoids the question and instead goes directly into attacking the reporter.
You've added a couple more events in New Hampshire next week. Was that a response to Nikki Haley's rise in the polls there?
Who's rising the polls?
Nikki Haley's.
She hasn't risen to me. See, this is a typical CNN question. They had it the other day where Nikki went up a little bit beyond. She went up 2, and she was at 11, but she beat DeSantis. I was at 69, and I went up 7, and they said, Haley surges. She was at 11, but she beat, so the headline was Haley surges. Because that's why it's fake news, CNN. That's why nobody watches it. No, not for any reason. I have time here. I like the people here.
Important to note, he's in Iowa in this clip. So him saying he's doing more events in New Hampshire because he loves the people here. Does he even know what state he's in? Who knows at this point, but probably not. That wasn't it though, because he goes on True Social in a rant that strikes xenophobia as it reads, anyone listening to Nikki Nimrata Haley's whacked out speech last night would think that she won the Iowa primary. Now, I do want to pause real quick because he's absolutely right there. I will say she did give a absolutely bonkers speech for someone who finished a distant third, not even second place, didn't even beat DeSantis, who lost to Trump by 20 points. She was down to Trump by like 24, 25 points. And she's like, this makes it a 2-person race. And now we know that there is a true candidate against Trump. So he's not wrong there. So far, he's not wrong. But he continues, she didn't. And she couldn't even beat a very flawed Ron DeSanctimonious who's out of money and out of hope. Nikki came in a distant third. She said she would never run against me. He was a great president and she should have followed her own advice. Now she's stuck with weak policies and a very strong MAGA base, and there's just nothing she can do. Now, what are the polls saying to make him act this way is the real question. While on the average of all polls, he is still up 11% in New Hampshire, that's a much slimmer margin than he's used to and shows there's real competition there. And some polls, like the American Research Group, have them tied as recent as 3 days ago when people in New Hampshire are polled. So what does this mean? All in all, Trump will probably still secure the Republican nomination, but if Haley gets a state and makes it 1-1, it will extend how long she can run. This probably then goes past Cyber Tuesday, where it's been massively reported when Donald Trump wants to have the nomination secured by then, and the longer he has to primary, the weaker he's going to look as a candidate in the general. So it probably really flusters him to think, I might have some actual competition. They're not just gonna lay over and let me win this. How dare they? He's not used to that. You can tell. And if Haley does get New Hampshire, it gives her some bargaining power in a race that she's been trailing since the start. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video, because the only way we become a society is together.